I don't think, because there's levels to it. So I don't think it's all the way there. But there were moments where I was like, this could be possible. But I personally did not say yes to that.
Right.
Because I personally don't think that. And I could be wrong. Maybe it is true. And I don't really see it. For me, that's not true. For me, there's some other issues that are there that you're trying to heal from, but it's hard for you to talk about it. And there's a lot of triggers attached to those issues. And whenever you're triggered, you detach. But that could be wrong because the other things make me say maybe, because it's like,
It's a spectrum.
yeah, it's a spectrum, but there's also, when I think about certain characteristics, and then I try to align them with like the personality, and then there's like, okay, there's these habits, and then there's like these quirks, and I'm like
What are quirks?
quirks of like, it's similar to habits, but they're like awkward. Everyone has them, right? So I when I look at those, I'm like, some of them I can put in the box of this is somehow connected to a traumatizing experience, right? And then the other ones are like, no, these don't fit into that trauma box, right? So that's when I start thinking about the spectrum.
Remember there was a time and I was referring to myself often as like being quirky. And you're like, nah, you're not quirky.
Because everybody has quirks. So if I just see you interacting with people, I don't think you're a quirky guy at all. You're not. The things that are awkward about you are like normal awkwardness, right? Everyone has something that's awkward, right? Something that almost like that thing that makes them unique to themselves, right? It feels awkward because no one else does it, right? So those things pretty much make you you. Those things are something that we all have. We all have a version of that, which makes us us. So in that regard, it doesn't really seem that awkward. It's awkward because no one but you do it. But in the grand scheme of things, we all have some of those things. So that kind of makes that unique thing normal. But then there's some other things that stand up, and they don't necessarily fit into the quirky box.
So you're doing this, huh?
Yeah, like meeting instruction, like being super good, like the execution is superb when the instruction's there. But when it's not there, it's like zero. That's definitely something that we can say is possibly on the spectrum, because you have some people who they essentially operate like that. Like when the environment, they do really well in this environment, whatever the environment is, environment type A. But when they're in environment type B, they completely lose it. Like they completely shut down. They start screaming. It's like a very traumatic experience, but it's to an average person it's normal to be in these types of environments. But to this person, they have to be protected from their environment all the time, right? That's not a quirk. There's something there.
Yeah, it was kind of the conclusion that I came to, and that was thinking back. I also think I'm somewhere on the spectrum. I was just curious to think what you think, but I already know what I think. I was just thought it was interesting to get your opinion. But that's also something that I've been eyeing from very, very deep subconscious. But I think in the deepest bit of my mind, I do know it. So that's why I had like the whole revelation yesterday, because when that came about, I was like, so many things made sense. Because whenever this Albert in the book, Mr. Nice Guy did tell you that if you only show a partial self, it's very hard to stay in the moment. So if you keep hiding, you keep detaching yourself from what's in front of you. And I notice that too, because funny enough, when I'm in the moment, I'm like very like face to face with people, it feels nice for a second. It feels I'm aligned with myself for like a quick second. I'm like, yeah, this is how I should be living my life, more like face to face with people, not the text. But something has stopped me from doing that. And I've been knowing this for a short while now. Yesterday kind of clicked like, oh, there's when you're face to face with people for a longer period of time, eventually you'll show yourself, your full self. And I couldn't have that. Maybe partially because I was afraid I wasn't really fit for society. Like almost being sent to like a special school and like being outcasted was something that I didn't want to have for my life. But because I'm outcasting myself now, because I'm not really participating anyways.
Exactly.
So
you're not participating because you don't want to be seen.
right.
Because if you're going to be outcasted and you outcast yourself, at least then you can say, I was outcasted on my terms.
Right. I didn't even think it would like that.
Right? But that's often what happens.
But
because
that's interesting.
Because you're doing it to yourself now.
Right.
And you're saying you don't want to do it.
Right.
But you feel like there's a piece of you that feels like if I'm not fit for society, they're going to outcast me and then it's going to be on their terms. And that's going to hurt more. So in an attempt to defend myself, I am going to outcast myself on my terms. I'm not going to let you outcast me. I'm going to outcast myself. But I'm going to blame you for the outcast.
I didn't think of it that far, to be honest, not yet. But it does make sense to say it like that. Which is funny because I do have intimate relations with friends. As well as like, I have very close friendships where I don't really feel like I'm hiding, not in an unnatural type way. Of course, I keep things to myself, but I feel like everybody is somewhat to a certain degree. But I do have friends that I'm like this with. What's also funny because the person that I'm like this with, I was thinking like they also got like traits that are kind of like mine. So I was like, shit, bro, like everything fell into place. I was like, oh my God.
We talked about that.
You.
Not with you. I talked about that. Just as, why was I bringing her up yesterday? I was like, she was around.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I was kind of.
I'm doing that to say that the people around you see you.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, that I got.
Right. And they're trying to show you that they love you anyway. They really see you. They see that part you're trying to hide. They see that part that you run from. They see that part that you're trying not to see in yourself. And they accept you anyway. That was the message I was trying. I wasn't trying to go like into a deep family. So that wasn't the point. The point was to say, this thing that you're running from because you think this negative thing is going to happen, if you were to lean into that, you would see that it won't happen. But because you're afraid of it happening, you're attracting the fear by forcing it to happen because you're doing it to yourself. That's how you're forcing it to happen because you're doing it.
Can you dissect that for me?
Exactly. Yes, I can. If, let's say, someone is on the spectrum of anything that society believes to be different, and because of that, society is interested in outcasting one person, that person can say, listen, it makes no sense for me to try to lean into the society because they don't accept me as I am. They're going to outcast me. So as opposed to me leaning into the society, instead of me leaning into the society and letting them outcast me, I'm going to try my best to operate within the society, but I'm going to outcast myself. That's that part of myself that I keep to myself. That's that part of myself that no one really knows. And the connections that I make with people are connections that I make with people based on those similar quirks that we all share, right? In this case, we're going to call them quirks. It's not really a quirk, right? The quirk is the thing that makes you who you are. So that thing that makes your friend who they are is different from your quirk. But you both know what it's like to be different. And that's really where the connection comes from. So you kind of outcast yourself to a degree so that you can have a safe space for these to be who you really are. It's like an introvert, like an introverted extrovert. That's me. So for me, when I'm out and about with people, I love it. But I need to regroup. I'm not a person that does that every day, right? So if I'm out for a full week and every day I'm with people and we chilling and we having a great time, I love that experience. After that week is done, I'm going to need a 2-week break from people and then I can do it again. So that's the introverted extrovert. That's kind of what it's like in this instance. You have to operate within this society, so you make sure that you lean into the aspect of yourself that society favors when you're operating in society. But that's a partial experience. And so when you're experiencing that other side of yourself is being ignored. So you have to retract away from society in order to experience that other part. And because that other part is really you, the people who can appreciate that part of you are the people you really connect with. Those are the people that you like to see. They're not just the people that like you for face value. They like you for the same reasons everybody else likes you. Because you put your best face on when you walk outside. That's why they like you. But do they really know you? Do they really see you? Those people that you really like, that you like this with, yes, they really see you. They see that part you try to hide because they have it too. And you see the part that they're hiding because you have it too. And y'all both put your best faces on to go outside. But when y'all retract from the general public, y'all can really be who y'all really are. So that break you need from the public is what kind of makes you like an introverted extrovert. That break you need is a different reason for a break. But the behavior, the external behavior is similar. Now, that pullback from society that you think you need to do, you don't really need to do it. But because you think you need to do it, you do it. And that's why you're being quote unquote outcasted. You're outcasting yourself. But you have a group of people around you who really see you. You don't think they see you though, right? You think you have to put on a face for them because you're not performing in this way. But they know why you're not performing in this way. They're trying to tell you why you're not performing in this way. But because of your reaction, this pullback, they think you're not ready to hear it. So they give you space. That space to you is validation that they don't really rock with you. That's why it's important to reframe. Instead of thinking about somebody coming down, be appreciative for the fact that they care enough about you to express the concerns based on what they see. Be appreciative of the fact that they can see your blind spots and they're willing and loving enough, caring enough to come to you and say something to you about it instead of thinking that they're coming down, because that's the information you need to not retract from society. Because in all this retracting that you've been doing, thinking that people aren't going to love you, thinking that people are not going to accept you, essentially these people coming to you saying that they see your blind spot are them saying, we love you anyway. So that thing that you're running from is something that you are now creating for yourself. It's a reality that you're creating. It's not based on how the people around you treating you. It's based on your perception of how they're treating you because of what you believe they would do if they saw the real you. Whereas they're saying, we see the real you and we love you, mate. So stop running.